Hello everyone, Father Carl here. Happy Feast of the Ascension. We celebrate that wonderful story today in the Gospel, Jesus taken up into heaven. But before he leaves, he reassures his disciples and encourages them and us. Go out and proclaim the gospel, the good news, to creatures everywhere. I'm happy to offer a little reflection on today's gospel story of the Ascension. Every time I hear one of the passages about the Ascension, I try to imagine what it must have been like for those who witnessed it. In one sense, we will really never know what it was like. But one thing is pretty clear. This event, this experience helped mitigate some of the doubts that they might still have been having. It may have erased some of their confusion, and they were not mistaken. Jesus was no ordinary man. I'm sure they still had lingering doubts. They had to be puzzled about many things. And I'm sure that much of what Jesus said and did was hard for them to wrap their minds around. And of course, they had to still be carrying some fear, unsure of what the future would hold for them. Yet we know that whatever happened that day, whatever they witnessed, moved them a little further down the path, deepening their belief in this man that they had now been following for 3 years. It strengthened their commitment to carry on the work he had started and asked them to share in. Now he gives them one more experience to assure them that by being close to him, they are also close to God. And so before he leaves to go to the Father, he encourages them, go now into the whole world, proclaim the gospel to every creature. So what is proclaiming the good news? I think today is a good time for us to reflect on that question. It's so much more than simply saying the right things or not hiding one's belief or our religious practices. Today is a good time for us to remember, whether we like it or not, everything we say and do proclaims something to those around us. Each action we take, each choice we make impacts others in one of two ways. We can either be the face of God for them, leading them from a place of being less sure about things of faith, or we're the face of God, helping them to find reassurance, to be a little more confident, a little more hopeful about faith and the presence of God in our lives. Our lives, our actions are that powerful. What I ask you to think about today is this. One of the best ways to proclaim the gospel is to provide people with the kind of experiences Jesus provided people with time and time again. The kind of experiences like his miracles, his presence after the resurrection, and now even the experience of the ascension. By that I mean experiences that move people to pause and wonder if there is something more to this life than we can see, that there is a reason to believe in a God who loves us and saves us and promises to be with us always. What are these experiences, these wow moments that are hard to deny? Well, when we forgive someone who hurts us deeply, when we give generously, even when we feel we have little to give, reaching out with patience and kindness and compassion to one who has a hard time believing that anyone loves them, refusing to accept common prejudices and biases and judgments about others, facing our tragedies and disappointments and sorrows with hope and trust, putting others' needs before our own. These are the kinds of things that speak volumes about who we are and what we believe is important. These are the things that can truly impact others in a positive way and help others understand that a life of faith is a life that truly makes a difference for the believer and for those the believer encounters. And so I'd ask you to consider today and in the week ahead, what will you do to help someone believe a little more deeply, trust a little more confidently, and embrace a life of love a little more tightly, following the example of Jesus? That's the good news people need to hear and see and experience. Today we hear that Jesus was ascended into heaven. Now our risen and ascended Lord is counting on us.